Buenas tardes. It's great to be here today. My name is Molly, and I was a member of the first Spanish immersion class. Like so many of you here, it was the core of how I grew up. As a member of President Obama's climate team at the White House, I am grateful for the Spanish immersion program, which first instilled the values that largely made me who I am today. When I look back at 12 years of language immersion, I remember a class that grew up together, and 20 years remain some of my closest friends. It is a program that celebrates differences, be them racial, ethnic, religious, and in huge thanks to many of the teachers here today, Señora Maria, Señora Magdalena, Señora Julia, and many others. You guys help instill multiculturalism in your children every day. This is a program that brings nations together, cultures together, increases tolerance, and cultivates international understanding. It is, in essence, what makes the world smaller and brings people closer. We know the benefits of language immersion programs well. Fluency in another language opens the door to a plethora of careers. It gives individuals an advantage in the workforce. Students not only benefit from knowing 2 languages, but from the analytical skills that serve them in many other non-linguistic related languages as well, or subjects as well. Ultimately, the immersion program teaches students about cooperation through barriers, diversity, global perspectives, skills that are vital in today's global society. From a policy perspective, I've come to understand that no issue today can be understood through a purely domestic singular angle. So often today, the only solutions are global solutions. I see that every day in the work I do on climate change, but also in a multitude of other issues we face that affect our lives and the lives of our children. That is why there is a need for strong leaders who can bridge the divides of cultures and nations. And that is where the language immersions of Palo Alto have deep relevance and purpose, as they raise a new generation of internationally minded leaders to tackle the problems we face today, as a nation and within our communities. Where I experience this most is in the fight against climate change. And over the last few years, I've realized that the more I work on an international issue like this, the more hopeful I am for the future. As I see successful immersion programs like ours grow, opening the doors of opportunity for more leaders to take on these pressing international issues, I am optimistic for the next generation that will rise up from our policy work and drive the climate movement further and faster than we ever could, driving international action forward. Because years from now, when our children inherit the world, they'll look us in the eye and they'll ask us if we did everything we could to create a better world for them when we had the chance. For those here today that pioneered these language immersion programs, I think you can respond, yes, we did. If, at the end of the day, our success is measured in the lasting positive impact we have on our world, I hope everyone here today feels pride. What you've accomplished, what you fought together for in 1995, and in 2007 with the extension of the Mandarin Immersion Program, and every year since, was that teaching students about cooperation through barriers, cultural sensitivity, diversity, and global perspectives wasn't just about learning another language. It was a form of empowerment, both for the students and for the communities at large. You created a new generation of bilingual, multicultural, and globally minded leaders to come of age and tackle the enormously complex and internationally facing problems our nations face today. And it's a shining example of people coming together as a force for positive social change. In 2007, in the fight to establish the Mandarin Immersion Program, and it was a fight, I sat next to Camille Townsend on the school board. We were wearing red from head to toe, the color of immersion advocates. It was past 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night. I was really tired. And I remember that amid the loud tension, Camille held up the Mandarin Immersion proposal and called the Palo Alto School District a, quote, lighthouse on a hill. Those public meetings were attended by school board members, educators, and parents from surrounding school districts. They told us that they looked toward Palo Alto first because they were interested in language immersion programs but needed to know how to do it. The next day, the New York Times called the program a, quote, an academically ambitious plan for an academically ambitious city. And a few weeks later, at Ohlone Elementary School, the Mandarin immersion was passed by the school board. Today, it is a thriving and successful program, just as the Spanish immersion program is. You all here today laid those first stones. Together, you paved the way. You proved the cynics wrong that language immersion programs for children wouldn't work, a notion that's well documented and understood as being extremely effective. And many more of you keep these programs flourishing today. The leadership and community action of those here today was that lighthouse on a hill. It created an example for communities across the state and nation that would go on to have a powerful rippling effect. That is why we need the Spanish immersion program and the Mandarin immersion program and immersion programs that continue. That is why a band of parents, educators, and community members came together 20 years ago today to courageously take a step forward to advance our community into the global future, with so many more keeping the movement alive today. Today, I ask you to look around to the librarians, the warriors, librarians and teachers, aides, administrators, and students, and realize just how far we've come together. Together, we have blown the notion of impossibility out of the water. I'm grateful to everyone for what you have given me and my fellow classmates. Thanks.